All right, hi everyone and good morning. So I just wanted to make a quick video talking about the open position ratios. So it's not a big secret thing or anything, but it just shows you from one broker, which is Oanda, which is a pretty large broker in Australia, and I get the data from that just because I'm an Australian client. So I don't actually have a funded account, but I do have a live account that was once funded. So might as well take advantage of this. And look, the main focus here is, so longs are in blue. So we've got 66.22% long currently, 33.79 are short. And then obviously if we relay that to what we're seeing with the currency pair, it's quite interesting because you know what the significance of that is. Now obviously a lot of retail traders, so I don't see institutional position open positions here, but you've got to have a look from I've mentioned this before, but I thought I'd make a video. The retail traders typically do lose. So normally if we see it above 70, so let's say 70% long and then under 30% short, now what that tells me is that typically there could be a counter trend move. But now in the context though, and what's interesting is that the USDCAD, I was just having a look at the Euro USD. The USD CAD is at a point where it's really been consolidating for some time, and I just want to talk about a few key things that I'm looking at. So if we bring up the daily time frame, we've seen it get through that stubborn resistance at 1.21312, and it closed near the high, which is quite bullish. So I'm just intrigued to see what's going on. We've got an accumulation here of the long stepping in. This was a little less last week as well when I did share this. So in fact, let's see what it was last week. All right, guys, I did find it and I was incorrect. So I shared this on the trading floor chat last week on the 6th, and as you can see, USD CAD was nearly 71% long. So, but to me, that's an insignificant move really made compared to where we are. Well, actually 60, so the longs have eased off a little bit. So that's around 4%, so that's interesting. But it's, I guess what's happened here is a few stops have probably been taken out with the move as well. And I just go to the 4-hour. Yeah, so that they've probably flipped to a short bias as it really didn't do too much, and I'm sure that the shorts have been stubbornly holding, but it's broken out, and it played out pretty dramatically on Friday night as well. Now I also want to bring out, so really in conclusion, the open position ratios aren't really coinciding a great deal with what we're seeing, but what that might mean is that with the commitment of traders report, the COT bar chart, what I'm looking for now is we might see the retail traders step back long and just think it's a short again. But what typically happens is the institutional inflows are really the ones that dictate the currency moves. Especially, this is more of a longer term idea. It's definitely got some conflicting signals going on, but I just thought I would bring this up. So we've got the bar chart here, and let's just have a look at the 3 months. So we've got large spec, small spec, commercials, and you can see that's flat. So we've got nothing really dramatic in June. I mean, it's a steady increase, but the peak of it was probably last week. This week we've seen a slight step down, but it's quite flat from now. We've got asset managers, leverage funds. Asset managers are net short, it looks like, as well. We've got dealer intermediaries here. These guys are net long. So we just want to see a little uptick in these participants, especially asset managers, as a bit of an indicator to potentially get in on a long-term trade idea. And now when we're constructing the trade idea, let's zoom out here. We're on the daily now. So really, you'd want to wait probably for confirmation. So I want to see how the daily candle on tomorrow's session closes. Now, if we have to stop down at the 121 or so level, where I've got that crosshair there, so an entry pretty much where we're at. So you're going to have a stop at around 150 pips, but what I like is all this room to the left here, guys, and you know the next level of resistance is up around here, if we're really honest. If I draw it in, what I like to do is I get the line chart and we see the close. The close of the candle is what matters, and that's what the line chart shows. So we've got 126. If I just get the candles back, it's a lot of room actually. We did see, let me just bring up, we did see a little bit of a turn here. It's the close there of that candle. To me though, it's not significant enough. You really want to see multiple touches. For me, at least 3 on the daily. 3 is the bare minimum, ideally more, but as you can see, price is finding support. Sometimes it breaks through, but there's a lot of room to the upside. I mean, so we've got 150 pips on the downside with the stop. We've got 460 pips or so on the upside, so it's around 4 to 1 or so, or 3 to 1, sorry, my maths tut. Alright, so let's get the economic calendar up here as well. So this is more of a longer term trade idea, even though I've mentioned that with the US dollar we're going to see some headwinds, and I'll bring up the DXY chart to conclude. But we've got here economic calendar. I'll just scroll up. A lot of news on Wednesday. So on Wednesday for the CAD, and I know I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, and Jin did talk about the CAD on Friday's trade call, but I'm just sort of diving a little bit deep here with a trade idea. So we've got building permits around on Wednesday, but really it's the CAD here. We've got the CPI month on month, so we'll be looking at a beat on the previous was 0.5, and then we've got crude oil inventories, not so much. Then on Thursday we've got the FOMC meeting minutes, the statement. We've got a lot going on. So I think I just want to see next week and see what happens as well. I mean, when I talk about having a look, I'll close this now, guys. When I talk about the Monday close, that could be where I get in with an initial position. So let's say, I've got a hypothetical $10,000 account. I'm risking, max risk is 2%. I might take 0.5% just to get in if it closes. And what candle I'd like to look for? You don't want to see a huge candle, because what happens is that, think of it as an elastic band. It's going so far from the mean, and if it's a significant candle, you're going to see pullback. So you don't want to get in at the high on a candle like that. Something like even something like this, and maybe even a pullback. I'd love to see a pullback, consolidation above here, above 1.21312 support, consolidation, and then we've got that news coming out of Canada, And for a long bias, we just want to see very muted language, no talk about tapering of quantitative easing, just we're still, in lockdown and everything like that, because they didn't do anything last week as well when the central bank was discussing it in Canada. And then we want to see out of the US some strength in regards to what the FOMC have to say with regards to tapering and things. I mean, most likely it's going to be very muted, but if it is all muted, then I'll bring back the commitment to traders report. I'll bring back the open position ratios, because what we might see is that the retail guys are increasing their short positions, which, as a contrarian paying attention to the statistics, retail traders are typically wrong most of the time. And then you want to see the commitment of traders in any uptick in the DXY in the US index inflows. So what I want to have a look at here is then the US dollar. Alright, so what I've got here, guys, is the commitment of traders DXY chart for the past 6 months. So I've just got large spec, small spec, commercials. Nothing really. This is what I'm going to be watching here. We've got asset managers, pretty flat. Looks like a green line there. I can't quite. I think asset managers is green there. Leveraged funds are blue. Deal intermediaries, other reports. As we can see, I mean, we did this last week. So everything's pretty flat as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how, I think with this week of news on the Wednesday from Canada, Wednesday night, GMT plus 8 time, and then Thursday as well, to see if there's any uptick at all. I did notice as well, if we go back, we'll go back again. This will be it as well, guys. Interesting little. Let's have a look at the USDCAD. It's quite a series of interesting statistics on this, with the actual positions that were open. I'll go back again. Here we go. All right, so that's not quite it. Full list. Okay. Let's go to currencies. So we've got, should be at the top here, US index, not showing it, Canadian dollar. Alright guys, I found it here. So we've got legacy commitments of traders, net position. So this is quite interesting. We've got USDCAD. So as you can see, if I go up, 52-week high, 52-week low. So there's, so actually the start of the week here has decreased compared to June 1st. Pretty stable. We've seen a small accumulation from May 4th to the 11th. The peak was the 1st of June, it looks like, and that was the 52-week high. So I'm going to pay attention to this one as well. So look at a summary report. Here we go. That's what I had. So we've got back down to the CAD. So here we go. So we've got net positions 77,183, long positions 81 short, so that's what we're going to watch. So it's pretty skewed towards the short bias here for now. So again, we'll pay attention to that, guys. Thank you for watching and have a great day.